Hello and what's going on, fellow 3D printer users. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about this awesome little Dikale 3D pen. You're going to be hard pressed to find another good deal like that on such a good pen. So without further ado, I'm going to jump straight into it. This is what you're going to get in the box. You get the pen, this really nice stand, your user manual, which is pretty nifty, talks about it. Then you get this piece of plastic that you can use to follow some of these guides. So you just set it on top, use the filament that comes with it and trace, or you can just use it freehand on your desk, what have you. And of course you get a bunch of filament. Mine's still in the bag because I did not buy this pen with the intention of using any of this filament, so I really don't care about that. Get a wall wart, two little finger dealies to protect your fingers if your kids are using this, and the power cord. It's just your standard micro USB, and the way that I've got it set up is I'm using a power bank, and that's how I've been powering the pen. I actually haven't used this, although it's nice to have. This is portable and I like it. So let's go ahead and plug this thing in. It just plugs right in there, and as soon as you plug it in, it's got a button here, and a button there. So now I'm selecting my PLA or ABS. I always do PLA, and then we're gonna select the mode. So you've got 1, 2, and 3. I like to use 2 because it's a steady flow and it's going to heat up to 100, and it's really fast, or 200, I'm sorry. It should be about 200, 205. So we're going to let it get to temp. It gets up there pretty quick. And while it's doing this, the reason that I bought this pen was to use with my leftover filament from all my just my regular filament from 3D printing. That's why I'm not using the other stuff. And this pen has been awesome with that filament. It did jam up at first, but it didn't jam at the nozzle. Let me show you guys the nozzle real quick. This just twists off. Very serviceable. I kept my nozzle really clean. I've been using it now for a couple of weeks. There we go. So I got a little bit of filament that I have left in there coming out right now. And there we go. We're at 200. And if you want to take it to 210, take it to 3, and then it'll shoot right up to 210. So what I like to use, I got this when I bought my used Ender 3 Pro. So this is what I typically like to use as my surface, and then I can just either set it down or use the stand that it comes with. And I'm always wiping the tip just to keep it clean. So I'll keep either a box of tissues nearby or just in my hand so that I can just clean the tip off and just keep it neat. And once I'm ready to load my filament, I just hit this button and you'll hear it starting to pull in. So let me just grab some filament here. And this is what you're left with after you've used all of your filament. It's not a lot, but this will not go in anymore, so you don't want to get it past right here to where it'll get stuck in the shaft. But as you saw in the photos, this thing is very, very serviceable, very easy to take apart, very easy to put back together. So we're going to use my favorite green color. And the other thing I really, really recommend is make sure you cut your filament at a point. Cut it to a point. Try to keep the points nice and sharp so that it'll feed right in really, really easy. And sometimes you might have to help it along. There we go, 3. So it's going in there now. I had it on 1. And then once it starts to come out, you can just stop it. There you go. Comes right out. And since I don't want it on my surface yet, just wipe it. There we go. This is a thicker filament, and that's another thing I'm going to talk about. Every filament is different. This is CC3D green silk. Right now my filament is really, really low, and there's not much that I'm going to print with it, so it has become, you know, my filament of choice. And you just got to get used to working the pen. I'm not gonna say it's easy, but it's very doable. And you want to treat it as if it was a 3D printer and just allow for a little bit of space. But at 3, as you can see, if you want thinner lines, you got to move fast. If you want thicker lines, you move slow. And then when you're ready to stop, I just twist it like that. And there you go. And using a build surface like this, or one that you buy, in my personal opinion, is much better than the alternatives and even what it comes with. And then it just peels right off. So some of the things that my son and I were able to make with it real quick. Obviously you do everything flat and then you just secure it together, and it stays together really well. It's obviously really good for fixing your 3D prints. I mean, the uses for this pen are endless. Drawing in the air is a lot harder than than the TV advertisements make it look, but it is possible. You have to keep working at it and getting good at it. And like you'll see in the photos, or like you saw in the photos, setting up a whole spool is really, really easy and simple. And that's how I do it for my son. He's got his own spool, so he wants to, work with just his filament. So I set that up for him. But for me, sometimes, doing different colors and whatnot is easy. So now that we have it loaded, let me show you how to unload it. This is the unload button. So you just hit that, hold press, and it comes right out. You can hear it. Really smooth. Here we go. So we're done with that filament, and once it stops, we can load in the next filament. So these are my personal filaments, not the ones that come in the box. So here's the next one. And if you hear a snap where it snags right about here, that just means that the tube that's inside there needs to be realigned. Mine did that, so once I realigned it, it was super easy. There we go. So now it's coming out. The green's gonna come out for a little bit, and then it's blue. And see how this filament flows a little bit differently. This is EndNote, eNotepad, I think that's what it. Yeah, this is the eNotepad filament. So this one flows out differently. There we go. Much more of an even, easy, nice flow than the CC3D, which is a lot thicker. And I think with this one, it's a lot easier to write. I mean, obviously you gotta get good. And as long as you keep the tip clean, you shouldn't have any issues with clogging. And then when you're done, just hold the U button. Out it comes. There we go. And then on to the next filament. And a safety feature that this thing has is if you don't use it for, I think it's about maybe 30 seconds to a minute, it will shut off by itself. So that's also a nice safety feature. And you can also change from ABS to PLA just by turning it off and on. There's your speed control. And then obviously you can just unplug it as well also. See, it'll start to cool down. If you just hold this down, it'll start to cool down. And then you plug it in, change your filament, and there you go. And then you can see it heating up. But anyway, this pen has been awesome, guys. You really cannot go wrong with it, and I gotta say, I'm really happy with it, and I think anybody would be happy with it. So if you're thinking about buying it, I wouldn't hesitate. It's a great package. I mean, it comes with all this stuff. If you're getting one for yourself, one for your kids, which is what I did, I bought this one just to try it out and make sure that it was legit. I liked it, so I ordered 2 more. This is just an awesome pen. Definitely recommend it to you guys. I really think you'll like it. So thanks for watching this video. Sorry it was so long, but hopefully you learned enough about it, and that the photos that I took of me taking it apart and stuff helped you out. But if this video was helpful for you, go ahead and get yourself 1 or 2, or like me, get 3. I'm gonna have 1 for backup. I might even get more for gifts. But thanks for watching, and have a great day.